Hello YouTube, my name is Krunoslav Baraba, I am Croatian and I live currently in the Phnom Penh and I am targeted individual. TI or targeted individual stands for the person who's been hit in a number of ways by the system. This can be voice to skull technology, which is the microwave technology, which is simply machine which gives ability to the government agent to hit somebody with the sound, with the voices. And I'm not hit with that, but many people are. These are the people with the tinfoil hats. It sounds funny, but it's not, because anybody can be hit. And these people, when they complain to their families, when they complain to their friends, friends advise them to go to see a doctor, and then they end up locked in the institution forever, because they hear voices, therefore they are schizophrenics, but they're not. And of course that psychiatrists know that, because they are part of the system. They know exactly what's going on. This is exactly why they are there. Another thing actually I've been hit with are the microwaves. This is pretty nasty. It can burn you extensively all over your skin, or in precisely certain points like genitalia, urinary tract, and forehead, back of the head in my case, and that can cause lots of pain and lots of distress. And the third thing, morgellons. Morgellons are very nasty. These are little nanorobots with antennas and with little electronic hearts, and they're so sophisticated they can actually feed in human organism, and they can multiply and even change a form. We see them as a little dots and fibers creeping out from the skin, and they are incredibly itchy. In the later phases, people have whole colonies of them all over the skin, and it's unbearable. I've been having them for more than 1 year. Another thing which combines all of it, which is very sophisticated, is the gang stalking. Now, I've been thinking how to approach that subject, and I know what people been uploading, what was happening to them, but it was not happening to me in that case. The core of the gang stalking are the Illuminati. Illuminati are people who've been born within the Illuminati families, and they've been heavily mind controlled by their reptilian controllers, in a case that their mind's been compartmentalized and they've been then specialized for certain tasks. Some of the Illuminati have psychic abilities, and they form something like a hive mind. And what happened to me a couple of years ago, thanks to DNA activations and extensive periods of meditation, I did manage to sense that hive mind and detect who is Illuminati and who's not. And the confusing part are those Illuminati I can't sense as such, because they have very low vibe. So what would normally happen with the gang stalking, you would have a group of Illuminati swarming around you and talking stuff about you nobody else knows, or that's at least what you thought before. So they're simply mentioning stuff about you, and it's like very weird. And this is very disturbing for many people who don't know that they live on a planet controlled by the evil power, and it was like this pretty much forever. And thoughts are not private at all. They've never been private. So the next step, what would happen is you have those groups connected to the Illuminati, like bikers or local gangs. These groups are organized crime groups, and they deal drugs and do dirty business for the police, for the powers that be, for the secret police. Because in normal countries Secret police and police, they do not sell drugs on the streets, they use gangs for that. And these guys, mostly psychopathic personalities, gonna do the heavy work. They're gonna do the stalking around the house, calling you bad names and so on. And also job mobbing is something connected to the whole scene. Suddenly people start spreading rumors about you, and then problems multiply, and then there is this aura of heaviness around, and suddenly you've been accused more and more and more about increasingly more and more absurd things, and then you get fired. And this is pretty much the story of my life. I call these jobs 2-month jobs. First month is always fine, and then after that everything is fine, technically speaking, no problems, but you know, heaviness, looks, people look at you, and then you know, okay, yeah, it already started. So beyond this point there is absolutely nothing you can do. It's just, you know, keep to that paycheck as long as you can, because you're gonna be fired. It's only a matter of time. And what else? Well, astral attacks, attacks in a sleep by the demonic beings. This was happening since the year 2000, but you can see this as a bragging, but I did manage to grow enough to beat these elements in my astral dreamscape, so this was not a problem for a number of years. And then actually the new phase began. Morgellons. So these astral attacks, and then collective psychic attacks. I've been also hit by the. When that was happening at the beginning, I had no idea. But then, after I came to this level of sensing who is Illuminati, who's not, and being more precise to watch on distance, then I could understand that these specific energy attacks been coming from the groups of the Illuminati groups when they swarm and organize, and when they send these negative mental attacks. And this is also possible to repel as well, simply to send this energy back to the source. But then they resolve to the, you know, technology, microwaves, and manipulating morgellons, and this is very effective. So now I'm trying to observe whole thing I said from the perspective of the normal person, normal average person. It's very simple. That person would think same as I would thought like 10 years ago. First thought is schizophrenia, and please stay with that, because this is what you've been programmed to think. Your world is not what you think it is. This is not the only inhabited planet in the universe, and you do not have democracy. Well, in my case, I live now in Cambodia. We really don't have democracy here, but something like continuum of a Khmer Rouge government which killed like 20% of people in the 1970s. This is why most of the people don't know about the thing historically. This is how effective is the mind control en masse. Just let me explain you with comparison. I live in Cambodia. In Cambodia, 50-60% of the young people don't know about genocide, which happened in Cambodia between 75 and 79, when 2 million of people been killed in Cambodia by the communists. I live in a country where people normally actually don't know about the Second World War. When I was living in Thailand, in 3 years I met 2 people who knew something about the Second World War. And one of those people was a person who was educated by me. So this is ignorance, but for them it's perfectly normal. See, when you start talking about these things, it sounds very strange to them. They are on that level where people simply don't have intellectual capacity to think about Second World War, because first of all, it does not exist for them. It's not part of their history, and subjective history, not factual history, because it did happen here. Japanese did first come to Cambodia, and then they attacked Thailand, and then they allied with Thailand, and then they went to Burma. But for them, it does not exist. So if you were to be in Cambodia and observe the level of ignorance here, you would then understand the feeling of being weird because you know certain things which does not exist for the rest of the people. So in this case, now maybe you will be able to start understanding me. I'm simply on a different level. I don't have much money, but I'm spiritually on a different level. And from that level, everything seems to be very different. What is happening globally on the planet, you have massive mind control. You have people roaming the planet Earth and completely unaware of the fact that they are simply food, nothing else but the food. And that food is kept on a very low level of consciousness. That food is mostly preoccupied about getting the food and protecting its shelter, because when their financial ties are lost, they are simply homeless and they end up dead. Which brings me to the topic of the most likely future of targeted individuals, including me. First possibility is mental institution. Second possibility is a prison. Third possibility is suicide. And the fourth possibility is, well, what do we have? Monkey house, prison, suicide, anything else? I think, oh, homelessness, right. Homelessness is a very easy way to die, because once you're on the street, you can easily be picked up by the van. And well, these people don't know about Second World War, but they do know about the vans which are picking up children mostly and people and picking them up, and they disappear. And this is what is going on in Southeast Asia. Dozens and dozens of thousands of people ending up disappeared this way every year. And this is the reality. Think about it. Targeted individuals are targeted from, in my understanding, two reasons. One reason is they started to wake up to this manipulation, and then they've been spotted by the system, which is omnipresent and everywhere. And second thing, they either had the possibility to wake up, so they've been hit ahead of the time. Please stay with me. We are talking here about the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence which can see the biofield of every single person, biofield or aura, of every single person on the planet Earth. It measures in the real time. Then you have between 1 and 2% of born-in Illuminati in the total population. With the psychopathic personalities, it's up to 5 to 6% of the total population which are working for the system directly. And then you have cell towers everywhere. Like that one there. And what else do you have? Then you have chemtrails spraying nanoparticles since at least year 2000. And then you have GMO food, which is poison, and then you have, well, synthetic food, and then you have hundreds and hundreds, if not millions, missing people globally per year. And this is your reality. What do you have underneath the earth? You have reptilian bases. What you have above, you have UFOs. These are not aliens. Technically speaking, they are from here. Geographically speaking, they belong to the empire, evil empire, which is holding not only this planet, but many other planets. And this is the system. The system is controlled by the metaphysical evil, which is interested only in one thing only: energy. And you are the food. And this is the reality.